This episode of The Apartment Guys is being brought to you by Greenlight Equity Group. Greenlight Equity Group acquires and operates cash-flowing multifamily assets in progressive metropolitan markets such as Salt Lake City, Idaho, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and Columbus, Ohio. Greenlight targets consistent, solid returns for its investors and a healthy environment for residents by operating high-quality, safe, clean, affordable apartment communities. To learn more about Greenlight and to sign up for the investor list, go to www.glequitygroup.com.
Welcome to The Apartment Guys, where we dive deep into all things multifamily investing. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and empower real estate investors to reach their highest potential. Each week, host Tate interviews high-level guests from all over the industry who are sure to bring valuable, actionable ideas that will propel your career to the next level. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned investor, you are in the right place. And now your host, the apartment guy, Tate Seymour.
Welcome, everybody, back. Another episode of The Apartment Guys is coming at you right now. This one's pretty fun today. I think you're going to enjoy it. We have Mr. Paul and Mr. Adam Vincent of Vincent Esquire, attorneys at law based in Ohio. They are working with my team on two deals that we are doing there, and we are really happy to have them on the show today to be talking about all things related to success and practicing safe syndication in the apartment building investing space. They specialize in that and in making you successful and in keeping you out of jail, which is always a good thing. Something really exciting to tell you about is we are about to release my new ebook that's called FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early via Apartment Investing. FIRE via Apartment Investing. It's the name of the audiobook. It'll be a free download at www.glequitygroup.com, and that'll be available in about a week. Very excited to be releasing this. We've had a technical delay with it, but it's really good stuff. So I hope you guys will get a lot out of it and start creating a vision for retiring early if you don't already have one. And by retire, I mean go on big in life, like not at all retiring in this typical sense of the word, but by achieving financial independence by getting enough passive cash flow going through apartment building investments that gives you total time freedom. That's the vision. That's the FIRE vision. So anyway, I'm really excited about the book. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, and I think you're going to enjoy today's episode as well. As always, if you don't mind leaving a rating and review, it is super helpful and helps the show get into the stratosphere of thought leadership in the apartment building space. So with that, let's just jump right into it with Paul and Adam Vincent of Vincent Esquire. We've got the law in the house today. Legal's here.
Hey.
Legal Eagles. Adam's a legal eagle.
Adam and Paul Vincent of Vincent Esquire are here, based in Cleveland, Ohio, and specialize in helping real estate entrepreneurs do their thing, specifically in the multifamily commercial space, primarily.
That's right.
Right, guys?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
buddy.
that's right. Hey,
Yep.
thanks for having us, Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
awesome
excited to be
have
here,
you.
man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it. This is a big deal podcast. You know, this guy's got like a bazillion reviews already. So
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on.
I appreciate that. We do what we can. We're very blessed with some great listeners, that's for sure. So you guys have been working together as brothers and as attorneys at law for about 7 years now as partners.
That's right.
Officially, Vincent Esquire's been around since 2016. And I met you guys, know you guys through Tim Brotz's network, his mastermind, and my Columbus-based partners knew and know of you as well. So, full disclosure, Adam, Paul, and my team are working together on two deals right now in the Columbus area. that are exciting, and we've really enjoyed working together so far. And we're right in the middle of PPMs and
A lot of action.
OMs and
Yep,
pitch
that's right.
decks and webinars and all that stuff. So we're working hard together right now. So, so anyway, guys, tell the listeners a little bit about kind of where you're from, a little background on Adam and Paul from small town Ohio.
Sure. Adam, you can start.
Thanks a lot. All right, I'll do that. Hey, so the small town we're from is in Portage County out in Northeast Ohio, not too far from Kent State, for those who might have heard of that. That's the most likely thing you might have heard of out there. You grew up together. Paul's a few years older, went to college together in Ohio, spent some time running for a small college called Walsh. Paul is much faster, and I'm not ashamed to say it because he's faster than most people. So that was fun. Room together. We've always been friends, most of the time getting along. And I took a few years off. I thought maybe I'd be a teacher or professor, English professor. Then I figured out what that meant and thought, well, Paul went to law school. I'll see what that's all about. And and it was great. I like teaching. Hopefully we'll do that again someday, maybe in the law school realm. But I just kind of like the practical side of the law and helping people and being a little more hands-on and helping people get some results and that sort of thing. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the opportunities, the vast things you can do in law. One of which is real estate, which you go to law school and don't exactly know what you're going to do when you get out. Get a general law degree, unless you're in a certain area like in intellectual property. You just get a general degree and figure out what you're doing after that at the firm you start with. So we had a little time at another firm. Paul had a few years on me in a general practice firm, which was a nice experience, but also helped us realize, we kind of want to start taking the cases in the law we enjoy a little more than others. And so we broke off about 5 years ago and had an opportunity in real estate, and that got us started kind of in a variety of things in real estate, and that's kind of snowballed into where we are today here at the multifamily. What did I leave out there, Paul? Any other excitement?
I don't think anything. No, that was good. Yeah, no, we've been lucky enough to do well and living together and spending all sorts of time together. So when this law firm idea presented itself, we thought about it for about 10 minutes and then we did it. So so we've had a lot of fun. We get to meet great people, like you and all your crew. And now we get to kind of focus on stuff that we only want to do. And most of that result kind of goes into real estate.
So talk about how you found your way from, well, first of all, where'd you guys go to law school? I kind of geek out
down in
on
Akron,
stuff like that.
Akron Law School.
Cool. So, and again, in name of full disclosure, as many listeners will know, I'm also an Ohio guy.
Fellow, but Midwest is best in your face, listeners.
The Utah background behind me will show my true colors, but
I don't recognize those.
I've been here 21 years, but I spent 26 years in Ohio. So,
nice, man.
Yeah. And it's my backyard, and we're investing there in Columbus, as many listeners know. And so I spend a lot of time there physically these days. My family's still in Cincinnati. I will say that we're not big Cleveland fans where I'm from,
okay.
at all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wow, this is ending
look
quickly.
At his
eye. You can tell he's not kidding. For people listening at home, he is not kidding.
No, actually, I'll just say I was thrilled when the Cavs won the championship.
Yeah, that was great.
I was over the moon in all seriousness, and happy for all you guys for that.
It's cool. That's cool.
So anyway, talk a little bit about how you found your way from Akron to working with people like Tim Bratz and putting 250 unit apartment deals together.
Yeah, so we it's funny, when we started our firm, I had a buddy that had run his own little real estate shop too, and he had a giant tax lien buyer client. They were buying 4 to 1,000 tax liens in various counties across Ohio, and he's like, hey, I've been doing this for about 2 years, going well. And I was like, hey, if you ever need anything up in Northeast Ohio, he's actually in Cincinnati, Joe Bikey. nicest guy ever. We should call him Adam. It's been too long. Anyway, and he's like, yeah, they're thinking about this package up in Summit County around Akron, where Adam lives and where we both went to school. And I said, cool, man. Let me know. Well, about, I don't know, it wasn't long. It feels like 5 minutes later, but it might've been 2 or 3 months later. He's like, hey, they won this bid. And when he told me all this stuff, we knew nothing about tax liens, the timing. He might've not even told me it was a bid. He might've said that he got it, but they, we're trying to figure it out, whatever the heck happened. He had called and he was like, hey, these folks got to decide who their counsel is going to be in about a week. So think about it. So Adam and I thought about it. And then about an hour later, called him up. I was like, hey, dude, let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was that. And from these tax liens, which are a weird mechanism for investors, in Ohio, it's especially unique because most counties don't sell them singularly. They sell them in a big bulk package. So you have to be $1 million something to buy them. But from that, we started getting a lot of insight about how foreclosures work. And then we also saw that there's all sorts of weird ways to make money in real estate. And then, our proximity, obviously to Cleveland, kind of, me and Adam are networking guys, stumbled into Tim's world. And I, probably bothered him for long enough to buy him a cup of coffee. And I don't know how many years ago that was, but that was it. It was basically this opportunity presented itself. We saw real estate usually are pretty happy transactions, and just kind of been learning from there. And before you knew it, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we found out what a syndication was. We ran through some of those and been doing it ever since. So.
Yeah, and I'll just add there, Paul mentioned, but one thing we've realized doing our own thing as a small shop, and you kind of got to get out there and generate work, whether you're in multifamily, real estate, or any other real businesses. Everybody talks about networking, and it's easy to kind of overlook that, but really being purposeful about it, and especially the relationship side of networking, not just meeting. It depends what your industry is, but especially for a lot of industries and a lot of situations, networking with and building those relationships is the big thing, which is a long play. Networking, I think, that is the important thing for folks to realize is. It's not just exchanging a card with more people. It's exchanging a card and taking that next step, and building relationships and trust, and having that kind of longer view that, you might not sell them anything this week, but you never know what call they're when they're going to make that call, and it'll turn into some work and maybe an ongoing relationship. So I think that was really what took us from, the small shop that started out with, these foreclosures, and then just met more and more people, and like Paul mentioned, reached out to Tim, and the rest is history. That was a big meeting as it turns out.
Yeah, and those life changers are so awesome when they come around. The sure. Game changing connections that you can make in your business, and it can just elevate things and put you on the next quantum level from where right. You even imagined yourself going.
I remember meeting him or whatever, and I was like, "Hey, man, I just met a billionaire." And we don't need to keep talking about Tim. I mean, he gets talked about too much anyway. Right. He's already got a big enough head. But it's funny because you can those things happen, and you just kind of feel like that's going to be a good one, and not that I was trying to con him into anything, but just the nicest guy. And, it's been very helpful for us for sure.
Yeah. And the timing of it was good too. Cause I think it was, I think before, right around the time he started doing his legacy or his education. So, which is obviously, been a multiplier. So.
Yeah. And that's the connection here too, is where my team is enrolled in Tim's mastermind group. And we're again, couldn't be happier with the connection level and the general caliber of the group and participants. And we did a 2-day event here in the last few weeks. That was a hot seat style mastermind where everybody got a chance to visit with Tim personally, and everybody got a chance to sit in and listen to the one-on-one coaching between, the participant and Tim as a coach. And dude, that guy just, he brings it. And we were talking a little bit off air, the gift of making things simple, understandable, and less daunting, especially in this world,
Mhm.
is huge. And when you can change people's mindset from this is huge. How do I raise millions of dollars? How do I put a $6 million property under contract to like, this is totally doable. I can do this. If this guy's doing it, I can do it. Like, that's a massive gift that any leader and teacher in this space is able to give. And so yeah, we'll quit talking about Tim, but he's got a special gift for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
we should make him. We should at least put on the podcast. He's a guest.
Yeah, well, he was so
in spirit.
When this one airs, he will have been the guest the week before.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
I podcasts in a row.
We recorded that episode yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, he's and this goes to real estate, but him in particular, real estate is especially fun because it's most participants are coming from a place of abundance. He didn't have to share all this stuff. He didn't have to make all these millionaires, with his content and helping people kind of taking down a $6 million project, but he does. And I see that this industry, it's probably the only one that really focuses on helping other people just because it makes you feel nice. I don't know any other industries that do that. I'm sure there are, but a great majority of active participants in the real estate industry are really excited to help other people, which is pretty cool. So,
well, and the smart ones, the really smart ones and the emotionally smart ones know that that's a secret key to
absolutely
high level success. And,
yep.
When you're coming from a place of service and contribution, you're getting back tenfold what you're putting out. And,
sure.
That's a nice byproduct of being in service. But I think, like you spoke to, just doing it because it feels good. There is a joy in what we're doing right now, which is, offering hopefully lots of value to listeners, essentially for free. Right. And,
yep.
And doing it because we're passionate about what we're talking about. And we love apartment investing and all the things that come along with it and the lifestyle that comes along with it and all the opportunities that are there and tax advantages, and we can go on and on. And so, it's for me, doing the podcast, as I've said a few times recently, it's like the coolest thing I do in my life. And I do a lot of cool things in my life. But the getting a chance to visit with people like you and other just high level guests and talk about, talk intentionally and with a focus on what we can do inside of our businesses to move the needle, what's made a difference in the past, where we're headed in the future, creating vision, all those things. It's so fun. I love doing this. You guys should definitely pick your podcast back up.
Yeah. We'll probably dust her off.
Yeah.
Try to be better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Cool. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of things a little bit. We're currently raising money for a couple deals in Columbus, and those are likely going to be, at this point, we actually think they might end up being joint ventures, because of the capital sources that we've courted, or one in particular, like kind of wants to do all of it.
Happy day.
So, yeah. So that means that we really won't need you guys for a whole lot. Right?
Cool. We're being fired live on the podcast.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
You're on the apartment guys. You guys got punked.
Yeah, that's good.
But I mean that, and
that's
we'll
awesome,
have
man.
to talk. We'll have to talk about, like, because there will be like an additional capital source on one of them. One of them will just be the singular capital source. So anyway,
that's awesome.
We'll have to talk about the ins and outs specifically, but we initially were treating these as 506c offerings, which, for the listener, that basically is a offering. It's a SEC term. It's used to describe an offering. I'm going to do a terrible job at this. You guys
you're doing great so far. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so let me see if I can get through it. that when you're to be an investor in a 506c offering, you have to be an accredited investor, meaning you have to make at least $200,000 as an individual a year or be worth at least $1 million. That qualifies you to be an accredited investor. Did I get that right, guys?
Yeah, it's pretty good. And one thing to remember about the $1 million is you can't count your primary residence. So, but yeah, no, it's great. I mean, 506 concerns really an exemption from a bunch of other laws that are way bigger of a pain in the butt than getting these private placements put together. So when you do the paperwork and you'll let the SEC know and the other state SECs know what's going on, you don't have to file a ton of more down the road paperwork that you do if it's not one of these exemptions. So yeah, no, man, you did great. And the difference between a 506C and a B, we can either get into now or we can do it later. But
let's do that now. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So you're doing a C, and a C is great because we can get on a podcast, talk about the details of the offering, go on the radio, go on Facebook Lives and anywhere essentially, and talk about the opportunity for an accredited investor. So there's a ton of benefits in that, right? You get to tell people what you do, tell people about this particular deal, which I'm sure will mimic something down the road. So they kind of get to know your product. Mm-hmm. So it's great. That's kind of what we recommend, most folks to do depending on their situation. Mm-hmm. The 506B is different in that it really limits the amount of advertising you can do. It requires you to have a pre-existing and substantive relationship with a potential investor. They have to be accredited or up to 35 non-accredited investors. And a non-accredited investor is just someone that doesn't meet the financial hurdles. There's other differences, but that's a biggie. And but you can only advertise it to those people that you already know prior to that deal. So the biggest difference I tell people between the two is really just the way you advertise it. There's mm-hmm. obviously other parts to the paperwork that you got to be concerned with, but those are the big thing. Is C's you can talk about on the radio, B's you can only talk to your friends and family.
Yeah, and to invest in a B, you need to have a pre-existing substantive.
Yeah, substantive. It's kind of a silly word, but yeah, right.
Relationship.
A serious relationship, more than just I met you at a a real estate event 6 months ago. So. So that's not good enough, right? That's no. I mean, if you just bumped into them and you exchange cards, no.
Yeah.
If you bumped into them 6 months ago, but you've talked 3 or 4 times since, or some number of times since, then probably. So.
Yeah. The nice thing is the SEC doesn't get real specific around this, what this substantive relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Means,
it's kind of, it when you see it. I could maybe, because I know how to talk about, someone's real estate background, investment, kind of portfolio than someone that's never done it before. So maybe I could build it faster, arguably, than somebody else. But yeah, it's not really defined. So it's best to err on the side of caution and only go to those people you really know well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one way to think about it might be just kind of think about it from down the road scenario or viewpoint, where if you did have to answer the question, or that person who's investing got mad and they said, well, I hardly knew you before this deal, you showed me this deal, is their argument going to be hold water? Is that going to be something that's going to cause trouble if anybody gets upset or the deal goes sideways or anything like that? If you have on file the 5 times you talked to them about their real estate investments and what they were doing and all that, then you can easily show mm-hmm. anybody who's interested, any regulators, what
new friends
that person's just making that up. So, right. So that's one way to think about it. It's a matter of being sure if things go sideways down the road, you have your ducks in order, and can address any concerns folks have down the road.
Yeah. Our team really has erred on, we haven't thought real seriously at all about a 506B offering, even though we do have plenty of non-accredited investors that would invest with us. Mm-hmm. And maybe we will at some point to take advantage.
There's
of that.
there's a lot of
Right.
really good opportunities for that. One of the big things comes down to how big is your raise, how many unaccredited investors would you need, and how much can you expect to get from them? So, it's every deal is a little different. So you just kind of take it one deal at a time.
Cool. So you guys have really not only helped a lot of real estate entrepreneurs and people that are crushing it and getting it done. You've specialized in really like the nuts and bolts of what it takes to do this business. You're helping people acquire properties, helping people raise money to acquire those properties. And you've done this brilliant thing of taking that position that you have inside of the industry and putting it to work and becoming real estate entrepreneurs, investors yourselves. So you just closed on your first asset, right?
Yep.
64 unit apartment. That's nice.
It's good.
That's a double right up the middle. Solid.
Yeah. We were lucky. We've at one of these networking events, one of Tim's events, actually, we met a couple construction guys that do something that we know nothing about. So, one of the things when we wanted to get into it was let's find some partners that'll fill the gap that we don't have. And we've also been part of enough real estate transactions to know that that's where you lose your butt, is on the construction side, the underwriting of construction side. So these guys, Daryl has built, what do you say, Adam, 100 million square feet of,
I couldn't even keep track.
Some crazy number. So anyway, that worked out really well. It took a long time to take that one down, but we're excited to keep that venture going.
And is this a new build?
Nope. No, this one's a former, what was it, Adam?
Air Force Base.
Air Force Base. Yep.
Yeah. So it was military housing that they've converted.
Oh, cool.
And and it needed a little bit of love. And so Daryl and Kevin, I think were great, obviously, to have partners there, and gotten a little start on that and gotten a response already. So it's been good. Yeah. Yep.
That's excellent. Congrats. So, and you said it's we were talking a little bit about before, it's in Champaign, Illinois market.
Outside of Champaign in beautiful Rantoul, Illinois. So little village, small village outside of Champaign. So yeah, it's been really good. So far so good. We're coming up on, was it 45 days or so, Adam? So not too long.
Yeah.
We'll know more in a year.
So what, I know you guys are rocking and rolling with the law practice with Vincent Esquire. How is your acquisition operation, apartment operation gonna fit into the big picture? How big a role will that play?
Adam can answer that one.
Please
tell me, Adam. Please tell me.
Right. That's yet to be seen. But no, I mean, we as we've talked about, we were doing the lawyer thing. We always had in the back of our mind, maybe we had a pizza shop at one point. We figured we'd kind of planned on at some point down the road, we'd spend less time being traditional lawyers and get into the business and real estate side of things. So we sort of have slowly transitioned into that, keeping the firm going and making a living and all that. But so this is the first step, and it's been great. We've been building relationships and trying to do it the smart way, rather than just diving in excitedly and making any major mistakes. At least that's been the plan, and so far so good. We'll see how things go down the road. But I think we both feel we'll obviously keep practicing law and keep that hat. But we have goals to continue to build up a portfolio and see where that can take us. So I mean, it's hard. We'll see what the future brings, but that's kind of a goal for sure.
It's kind of hard to hang out in the tribe you guys hang out in and not like all of a sudden have $30,000 passive cash flow coming in just by osmosis, right?
Right. Yeah. We were so ashamed for so long since we didn't do anything, so we're like, well, it's about time. So actually we did. We had our first mastermind ever, because we're, a couple of goofs from rural Ohio. Our first mastermind was with Tim's group in what was that, November of 19, Adam?
At least so,
So
yeah.
anyway, yeah. So November 19 is our first mastermind. I kind of thought this stuff was all baloney. But so that was our first shot. Tim was, was very gracious to invite us along, and, we joined the group. So we go there, and it's like, you got to do all these plans and, kind of what is your 2020 going to look like? And we said, hey, let's not do these types of like garbage legal work anymore. Like no more, it's not garbage, but it's not fun. So we don't do, we don't want to do any evictions or any kind of transactions. We don't want any more litigation. We just stripped it down to what do we really like to do? Well, placements, private placements is fun because we get to help people that are taking on cool projects and have happy outcomes and all that stuff. And then we're like, hey, let's buy some, let's get into the real estate game because being a lawyer is fine, but it's not that much fun. So, and we decided 2020, we're going to get part of syndication, our own, and then we're going to flip a house. So I think we got a house finally. We didn't really spend much time, but we got a house at the end of the year, and we also closed on this one December 30th. So so we snuck it in there, but the virus made it a strange pursuit. But we're pleased to finally be on that side of the room now. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are going to find that Michael Blanc talks about the law of the first deal.
Yeah.
You crack that nut, man, and things get easier. Deals are going to start coming to you more and more. Like,
sure. Raising money will be a lot easier. Yeah.
Raising money's easier.
We deal with this stuff all the time, right? But until you're the guy driving the bus, you're kind of like, I don't know. Would I give me money? I don't know. But, so anyway, now that we got through that first raise, it's certainly, it's just about credibility, right? So, it'll be easier to talk to people about it because we'll have a product to kind of show them this is what it looks like. And, these partners do this stuff, and we smile and ask people for money. And, and so, we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Was that a 506C exemption on that one?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. And did you raise on the air kind of advertising at all? Podcast? Where did you source?
Just from the network. I don't know if we did a webinar. I don't think we did, Adam. I think we only had 4 investors for it. So it didn't, it wasn't like, 25, 100K investors or anything like that. So it was basically just word of mouth, friendships kind of stuff. So we were lucky. It was probably a little easier than it should have been, but we'll see how the next one goes.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled. I think timing was good. It happened to have some capital that opened up right at the good time for a couple partners. So that was good. Yep.
Nice. Are you guys thinking of the Cleveland market? Or we're open to really anything. Cleveland's a little expensive, for what there's just so much competition out here. There's competition from California and all the coasts and Israel, and we have a lot of incoming because it's getting a lot of attention. So same as Columbus, so it's I certainly would look at something that's available, but that goes for pretty much anywhere. So cool. We're in Utah, Salt Lake City, and which is, depending on who you talk to, when you talk to them, is usually in the top 3 like high growth metro areas.
Sure. Yep.
It's just crazy. Our rent growth is crazy. Our appreciation's nuts. And for us to go outside, and so it's uber competitive, obviously. Cap rates are super compressed. We've got anything with a 4 in the high 4s will sell, no problem here in Utah. So you can do value add deals, but it's hard to make them cash flow out of the gate, or even in the long run.
Right.
So we look elsewhere for larger scale deals, and we handpicked Columbus, Ohio 2.5 years ago to kind of start to plant seeds in and get to know well and find deals and inside of. So we're there now, and we've got a boots on the ground team and really are foundational there. So these these other markets, the Cincinnati's and Cleveland's and I guess Dayton's to a lesser degree, but will become something that we start to consider because it fits our model and our current infrastructure will, and the one that we're building would eventually support a Cleveland acquisition or a Cincinnati acquisition. And it's really interesting. I can kind of geek out on this market stuff for a while, but
this is good.
The difference between Columbus and the whole rest of the state is remarkable to me. I don't know if you guys see that or not, but cap rates seem to be at least a point and a half, even 2 points lower than just about everywhere else.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very, a lot of people are migrating there from all over the place. Job growth is big. It's obviously the capital, so there's a ton of government jobs down there too. So it's a lot of really nice suburbs too, not just one or two. There's a ton around that 270 belt. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, we're super excited. So in the 506c world, what kind of mistakes can you make? Like, say I'm on a podcast or I'm running a webinar, and I'd say the stupidest thing that could put me in jail. Like, what would that be?
Talking too much about guarantees. Don't ever do that. Yeah. Another thing too is if you're talking about it too often live, you can make mistakes, right? So you want to stick to the script. You don't want one listener on the podcast to think something and then, the paperwork say something different. If for nothing else, it, can sometimes make you look a little goofy. But that's the big thing. Whenever you're doing marketing, you want to make sure your marketing is spot on, because otherwise, you might get yourself in some trouble later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just accuracy.
Yep.
No outlandish claims and no guarantees and
that's right.
Whatnot. But as far as we can say what we're projecting as in our underwriting as pro forma IRRs and whatnot, right?
That's right. Yep.
As long as they're good faith based on legitimate numbers and you've spent reasonable amount of time making sure they are legitimate. If somebody comes back later and says, what'd you base this on? And you have no good answer to that, then obviously that's a problem. But if you're consistent and all those things are good faith projections, then you should be okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Adam, anything you want to say about Paul while he's gone?
He stinks. No.
You would know, right?
Yeah, he's totally rude. I mean, that's one thing I think everybody can agree on. There he is. Sorry, I can't say too much because there's some chance I'm gonna have to step away also. So.
Gotcha.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Awesome.
He's really vengeful. Just kidding.
Awesome. So, you guys have worked with a lot of successful investors and some, I'm sure that you see a lot of varying degrees of success. You see a lot of different business models. You see people that have teams. I'm sure you see people that are solopreneurs that are trying to do this on their own. Like, what do you see in the people that are doing really well, growing fast, scaling up? What do you see them doing? You have a really unique inside perspective on people's business that hardly anybody else gets to see. So
sure.
Let's get into what makes people really successful.
I'll chime in with just a couple of things I see, and this is more just characteristic for, I think, successful people is being curious, kind of figuring out, mimicking others, figuring out how something works, figuring out what a PPM is and making sure you're doing it right. So curiosity, and you can kind of talk about that a lot. Another thing is patience. We're in a very impatient world, and everybody wants to own 1,000 units in a year or whatever some goal is. But the people that are doing really well don't take a deal just to get a deal. They figure out how to underwrite things, and then they kind of stick to it. And you always have to move a little bit outside, obviously, of the best case scenario. But that's been my thing, is there's people that have, taken something where you're just doing a mental math on it. It's like, how are you ever going to make money on that thing? And that's kind of the thing is, being patient, but being deliberate, right? Like, being consistent on trying to find stuff, networking and all that, but not jumping in a deal just because you want to close one. You know, it's better to get that's why I'm excited about our first one is, you know, we see stuff all the time, but this one really feels like, wow, we really set it up to do well. So, you know, that's my big thing. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah. And part of the reason that we're talking about one that's going well is we didn't dive into one that, you know, hypothetically could have, but we've tried to be thoughtful about which ones we get into. So I think that's it. Yeah. Patience is huge. Curiosity and just as a kind of mindset or a lifestyle, really, you know, the guy who we've mentioned, whose name I won't say again a lot.
I think we're going to owe him money. We're going to have to pay him something.
He's going to owe me something. Buy these books. He's making a book series for kids based on a lot of the common famous, you know, mindset books and business success books that are out there. And he's trying to get that mindset and that curiosity and that drive and all those high thinking ideas and successful ideas to younger people, you know, which is great for him to do. But whether you're young or an adult, you should be reading and, you know, curious in that way too, like understanding partly like, you know, more about apartment buildings, but I think there's also some education we always have to be doing outside of just our profession or just our focus, you know, on how we're going to make a buck. You know, a lot of those books that everyone talks about are more, you know, philosophical more than anything. And I think that's something that sometimes it's easy to put on the back burner is also thinking about how you know, self-development and
personal development,
which can sometimes even have the motivation of just becoming more rich through personal development. It's not necessarily, you know, getting that next deal or 1,000 doors. It's personal development. So, you know, you're a better person to sit in a room with, you know. I think because we've just talked about it a lot, you know, being a person that other people want to be around and that other people want to do business with gets you that, you know, we talked a little bit earlier, be nice and generous, and it always comes back, you know. I think that's a big thing that sometimes is easy to overlook or forget about. You know, you did your philosophy class in college and then you never look back. Keep reading and keep thinking about these ideas, or listen to podcasts or audiobooks if reading isn't your gig, you know. There's a lot of important ideas out there that we have never heard of. So it's important to always be engaging with that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Those are awesome qualities: curiosity, patience, being deliberate. Those are especially those last two. You mentioned people that, you know, want to do 1,000 doors in a year. Did you guys like read my whiteboard before?
No, just like everybody has the 1,000 doors, you know. So it's a good guess, and I don't, you know, and I don't judge on people that have that kind of goal. But you know how much work it is to underwrite something.
Yeah.
You know, you might get 10,000 thrown on your desk that you get to look at, but you know, being intentional and deliberate, making sure you're getting 1,000 really good ones is where it's at. So.
And goals are great. They just can't get you off track of what you're, you know, sometimes people get pulled away from their priorities or making good decisions just because they've got this goal in mind. And so you just got to keep an eye on it, that it doesn't take it down the wrong direction. It's a great goal to have for sure. Just don't.
Well, inherent in 1,000 doors is 1,000 good doors, but sometimes people don't do that all, you know, that's not the top of mind. You know, good deals got to be top of the mind, doors second.
Yeah. This was all good for me to hear from you guys as my attorneys, because I'm generally a pedal to the metal guy. Like, I'm not really ashamed to admit that. In life, I just kind of go for it and go big. And you know, in business, I paid the price more than once for that, you know.
It happens. It does happen.
And I love doing deals, you know. I love properties and I love improving properties. And so I've got a great team, and Tim Shaw in Columbus, Ohio is an awesome guy for me to have on my team, because he's very meticulous and thorough and, you know, grounded in his his analysis, and
great.
And so it's a good balance for me. I wouldn't do all the deals out there for sure, but probably do.
That's right.
I'm not afraid of heavy lifts and whatnot. But I will say that when we're in a market like Columbus, I'm a lot more bullish on just about every deal, right?
Sure.
It's just, you've got that tailwind factor, and you're not counting on it, and you're not underwriting it necessarily. Even like we're not underwriting 8% rent growth or even 6% rent growth, but that's like 4 or 5% rent growth in Columbus is very realistic possibility. Yep. And I mean, Ohio's number 4 in the country right now for net migration, in migration, right? Mm-hmm. So, which is behind like Texas and Florida and
much more
Arizona.
Common ones than you would expect, for sure. Yep.
Yeah. So only Ohio's just behind a few of them. So there's tons of population growth, and the interesting thing is Cincinnati's actually losing population still.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's a beautiful city. I don't get it, but
yeah, I don't get it either. So, but it tells you where everybody's moving to, right? Yep. It's like suburbs in central Ohio and small towns, and then Cleveland, Northeast, that whole area too. So I think it's a matter of time with Cincinnati. Personally, it's got way too many attributes and assets, great companies, good employment, everything else, great schools, infrastructure. But Cincinnati Reds. So
that's right. That's enough really, not to invest there,
Oh man, it's being a Cincinnati sports fan is brutal. It's so hard.
Don't worry. I mean, we've had some strokes of luck in the last decade, but
did they leave your city at any point?
Yeah, that's right. At least they didn't leave you.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think had the Bengals left 20, 30 years ago,
it might have been good.
It might have been a good thing for the city, because they probably would have gotten another franchise and
start over. Starting over didn't really help us that much, but we're in a good space now. So
speaking of long plays, there you go.
Right. No, I just got to share. I got to have a conversation with the president of the Major League Soccer team here in Salt Lake, and he's worked in front offices in every major professional sports league. And he said, Tate, the Cincinnati Bengals are hands down the worst run sports franchise in on the planet.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
No, but like with no comparison.
Wow.
So I gave up on the NFL. I'm happy for you guys this year. That's super fun.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm a soccer fan. So the Columbus Crew went in the MLS Cup this year, which was like 6 weeks ago, I think.
Yep.
Which that's awesome. I love that stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So, well, cool guys. So, how do things look for you moving forward? Do you have, are you kind of, in cherry picking mode as far as deal flow goes and doing new deals, or do you have, I mean, I know it's probably not 1,000 doors in the next year, but do you have metrics like that moving forward?
I mean, I'd like to do I'd like to do 2 deals in 2021, whatever that looks like, right? They could be another 64 or another, 280. Who knows? So my goals aren't the moon, but that's just me. Adam, what are your goals? Why don't we talk about it here? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think if we get to a couple hundred this year, that'd be a huge win, for sure. So yeah, just keeping at it and sticking to our plan. Keep meeting good people.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's really it. It's who knows? I mean, maybe we'll do 1,000 doors, but I think it's just going to come down to us. Keep doing what we're doing. Just keep looking at deals, and you never know. For sure.
Do you guys?
That's what I like about it too. So.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is you guys get a look. I mean, you've got like inside track of deal flow from so many different sources, and you're poised for sure. That's awesome. Do you guys look at automating the legal side, the legal piece more as time goes on?
Yeah, I think so. We'll be the more of the sales guys, probably. And try to figure out how to get somebody else to help doing more of the pushing of pencils. But I think that that's probably the play. I mean, we enjoy doing the legal work and stuff, but we like more so just talking about how you structured it and then just sending somebody else to do it. So that'll probably be a big thing we do this year, just because we have a healthy number of them coming in the door. So I think that's a play. And we're starting some new advertising campaigns on YouTube and stuff with a guy that does that for a living. So it should be a good year.
You're advertising for the law firm?
Yeah, just for more private placements, lead gen stuff on getting more of that work. So
yeah, not the same guy that just produced Tim's latest film, is it?
No, no. This guy, his name's Alaric. He's just does YouTube ads. It's really good. He's a smart guy.
That's awesome. I need to look into some stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll send you. He's it's called the AD Outreach, and just YouTube. He's a brilliant youngster. I don't know how old he is, but not very.
I would really encourage you guys, again, to think along the lines of media. You both, I hesitate to say it, but you're both decent looking guys. And,
hey, I'll tell my wife.
There you go. I know. I knew that was going to go over well. But
it's 2021. There's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone, people.
Yes, absolutely. This is a judgment-free podcast.
Absolutely. We love everybody.
No, you're both fun and funny and smart, and you have. Nice. Yeah, we were talking about how Mr. Bratz has a lot of wisdom and kind of an old soul. I think it takes some of that to recognize that in someone else. And so I would just add, as we were talking about qualities that separate the big guys that are crushing it and 10x in it or 20x in it. I would add, you guys mentioned curiosity and patience. I love patience. Gary Vaynerchuk talks a ton about patience. He talks about it all the time. That this is a long game. Multifamily is very much a long game. It's a relationship game. It's a team sport. And, some of the best deals you do are ones that you don't end up doing.
One of the things when we did all these tax liens, we did this, a lot of these distressed expos or people selling notes and stuff like that. And what was Straub's first name, Adam? Do you remember? That guy that talked?
John.
Yeah, John Straub. So he's a guy that, owns a plane. He's got a house in Australia and one in like California or something like that. And, you look at somebody like that and you're like, wow, like everybody wants to be that guy. Right. And he does a lot of education stuff. He's one of the very early on education guys.
He's got like CDs or cassettes.
Yeah, he's got CDs. Yeah, we bought a CD only 2 years ago or something. Nice. So anyway, and I bring that up because of the patient side. He said, people all the time are like, hey, why don't you buy more stuff? And he owns 100 single families or something. It's got to be, maybe does 2 a year. But it had a perspective for me where it's kind of like, you can't always be in a rush. Like John Straub he said he only buys maybe 2 a year, but he only wants one really good one. So, he wants the deepest wholesale. And he's like, I see hundreds and hundreds a year that I don't do anything with. So for me, it's always kind of whenever somebody brings this stuff up, it reminds me of him. And, and he's now, he's probably in his 70s or so living his best life. But that to me was like, that's a good point of view too. And that, it is taking a lot of time. I hope I can do this for the next 50 years. If I'm lucky enough to do this for the next 50 years, I mean, that's a ton of deals if I did one a year. So anyway, that's kind of where I come from.
Yeah. And I think it has to do with, kind of working backwards, what is it that you want? Because whatever the number might be, is that going to lead to a lifestyle that you're going to want, realistically? How do you execute on reaching that goal when you're there? I think one of the things he said was, he's like, well, I have my airplane house and I got my something else house. When he wanted to get one more, maybe treat or whatever it was, he'd get one or two more houses to be able to pay for that. One was his kids' college house and all that stuff. Right. So anyway, it was just it was a wise insight for sure, just about setting goals and then figuring out what, how to get there and what it'll look like as you get there.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. There's a lot of paths
sure.
to financial freedom. And
Yep.
really at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever your lifestyle costs, $5, $10, $20,000, generating that in passive cash flow from cash
Yep.
flowing assets, profitable assets that you own or have partial ownership in. That's where it's at. Like,
Yep.
that's what we're all going for. And if you own 100 houses outright, you're financially free.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Right.
if you own 20 houses outright, you're financially free, probably.
Probably.
So, there's nothing wrong with doing things that way. I personally love the apartment building game. It's kind of its own reward for me personally. I just love it. And so it's fun. And
Yep.
so I didn't find that with single family. We did that
Sure.
for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not a single family, that interested in that either. But that I say that though, and I think people should allow themselves the freedom to just give it time. Like, if you asked me 2 years ago, any of this stuff, or not 2 years ago, but a couple years ago, any of this stuff, like I would have never guessed, how it shakes out. So I think if you allow yourself the freedom to, maybe I will become a single family, something, or I will be an apartment guy or buying notes or just, starting a coffee shop. I think people shouldn't feel guilty about that if you decided to change gears at some point. So.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to be able to lock into doing what makes you happy and makes your heart sing
all day. Right.
It is money. It's so nice. And
there's so much value in that for sure. Yep.
And the reality is I don't think everybody's going to get there with that. That just doesn't happen for everybody. But I think I was talking to my partner yesterday. It's if your purpose is outside of your vocation, that's cool too. Like, because it's all about like intentional congruency as I think Gary Keller's concept about all parts of your life serving all other parts of your life. And so, if you've got a vocation that you at least enjoy and that's, enabling wherever else your purpose and passion lie, like nothing wrong with that.
For sure.
Yep. For sure.
There's 7 billion different ways to do this life.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So awesome, guys. So how do listeners find you guys? And, why would let's start with why would a listener want to reach out to you, and when in the process of doing deals should a listener reach out to you?
Yeah, I'd say if you get something agreed to LOI form, that's a good spot. An important piece to purchasing is the purchase agreement. There's a ton of due diligence that you should get your eyes on. So that would be a good time to start. And just because we're on this Apartment Guys, the world's best Apartment Guys podcast, doesn't mean we're the only guys that do this. You should make sure whoever you use and you spend some time with them on the phone, because these relationships are important ones. And you want to make sure you like who you're working with. You're spending real money, like significant money on it. Make sure you like who you're talking to. So that'd be LOI signed. That's when you should probably get somebody involved.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that too is we do occasionally have folks call us up that even before LOI to talk about something they're thinking about putting in an LOI, and they just want to do a little more understanding about money raising. So we do occasionally get a call then. So if there's a person who's getting into it and wants to just chat a little longer, we can do a quick call just to help them along the way and educate them a little bit on some things to think about as they're raising their money or as they're putting things together. If they've already are in it and have a pretty good idea of that, I think the LOI is a prime time. ASAP is really when it comes down to it, though.
Yeah. And if you just like buying apartments, like Tate, we're happy to talk, to anybody. We carve out this little Calendly thing so we can get people. We can always be talking to strangers, adding our network. So
right,
that's fine too.
And I mean, you guys are just like the rest of us in this particular tribe and everywhere else. You want to do deals, and partnership is where it's at in this world. You never ever do a deal in this world without a partner or two or
or yeah,
35
or 50. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
no, and it's like, and I think one thing that folks like us need to remember is like, we learned this stuff from somebody else. We stole their knowledge, and now we're using it. And like, we should be willing to share and be just as generous. So we try to be mindful of that too. We get tons of calls from people that, we won't see a dollar from for years and years. That's okay. Like, we're in this for the long game. We're relationship guys. And, we like talking to people that like the same things we do. So,
yeah. I just want to point out, because I've seen it a zillion times during this hour, over Paul's shoulder, for those of you listening on the podcast and not on video, he has a plaque that says "Happy Transactions Only."
Yeah.
Which I love.
And we tried. I mean, that was the thing we focused on in 2020, was like, let's get the stress. Like, I don't need to be stressed out because this isn't happening in your world. And so that's kind of what we've been doing and that's why we like these PPMs is, there's stress and there's always some deadline, or someone's got a question about something and maybe somebody gets upset about something. But I mean, overall, it's just, the outcomes are great. We really like helping, and this like changes people's future. It's not just for this deal. It's like, this person that we just helped might be, happier tomorrow just because we got this thing done. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, making lives better, guys. Good work.
Yeah.
So awesome. So how do people connect with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, I mean, social media is great. We're on there a lot. VincentEsquire.com is a way to reach out and get our office number or whatever. But yeah, we're just snoop around for Paul Vincent or Adam Vincent, and someone will show up on somewhere, and we're happy to connect up.
Yep. You're both on LinkedIn.
Yep. LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We even joined TikTok this week. That was something.
Clubhouse. You done Clubhouse yet?
I did Clubhouse, but like, I haven't gotten into it too much yet. Have you done it much?
I've done it. Yeah. It's way time consuming, and it's really cool.
It's good. Good. I'm glad you like it. So for me, I'm like, I mean, there's like, when do I know someone's going to say something like valuable? I guess you just kind of wait around for it, but
it's just another panel discussion format app. But I was in a room with Grant Cardone the other day and listening to him coach people, and cool. I mean, you can get that in other places, but it's kind of cool that it's live, and if you want to, you can raise your hand and go up on stage and ask questions. And
I got to give it a shot. I kind of poo-pooed it, but I guess it's good. I mean, right. I'm lots of people like it. So
yeah, I think it's Adam and I did a forum together, or a room I think it's called a room.
Sweet.
Together on podcasting,
nice.
Specifically.
Oh, good idea. Nice.
We were on it for like 3 hours.
Wow. So, that's good. Did you guys get some good traffic?
Yeah. It was, it was great, conversation. Basically, it was just Adam dropping bombs about how to do this.
Yeah. I don't know where he picked it all up. I mean, obviously he's done a bazillion episodes, but yeah, I think he's just a really smart guy anyway. Smart people just learn something once and they can tell everybody about it. But he is really impressive. We had talked to him a little bit about our plans on maybe getting back into it. And he was asking us stuff. Of course, we had no idea. And we're shamefully responding like, oh, well,
we'll circle back with you.
Put a pin in it. Yeah.
That's right. Check on that and get back.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Guys, it's been super fun.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for having us on.
Appreciate it, Tate.
Super
really,
flattering.
Really
this is great.
Appreciate your time and all your expertise and advice. And
sure.
It's on my vision board now to do a deal with the Vincent Brothers sometime.
Yeah, let's do it.
The plan.
12, 24 months, something like
that. And my vision board now is to ski without breaking legs.
There you go. Guys, come to Utah anytime, really. Honestly.
Yeah, we were there for Tim's event. When was that, Adam? Was that our first one?
That was November.
Yeah. So we were in Park City. It was beautiful. Nice. That was the first time I'd ever been there. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Next time.
I get to ski about 40 days a year, so I'm lucky.
That's good. Yeah. I've skied once, and it wasn't as great as one would hope. It was good.
Well, we'll have to change that maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So, that's right.
Awesome. Yeah. Guys, then my dog's chiming in here at the very end of the show to say hi. But once again, super grateful for your time, and I'm really glad to be connected with you guys and be working with you.
Thanks, buddy.
Good to be a client.
Thanks for having us on.
It was fun.
You bet. We'll have to do it again 6 months down the road, and
that's a deal.
Talk about your next 100 unit.
That's right.
That's right.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, listeners. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Apartment Guys. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Apartment Guys with Tate Seamer. Tate and friends are grateful to have you as a loyal listener. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe, rate, review, and share with friends on your Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or any other podcast platform. Also, check out Tate's YouTube channel for videos of many of these episodes and more. Until next time, take massive action steps and rock on.